Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Today, Mahakassapa would the story of Venerable Kassapa from Dhammapada, Arahanta Waka, Arahanta chapter. There are many Arahanta in this chapter. Venerable Kassapa is the third disciple of the Buddha, Mahakassapa. Oyong Zandi Sadimando Nanikede Ramantite Hansawa Palalan Hedawa Oka Mogan Zahandite Tadishido Boko Roti San Wibadana Deado Night Long La Puja Go Yi Toboko Roti Tia Kamako Night Mamwile or Jago Henda Nedo di Jesaya Shunyo Ango Song Qualia Pian Dua de Gedo Mia Dana Udamiago Son Yu Dwago Yi. The mindful ones exert themselves. They are not attached to any home, like swans that abandon the lake. They leave home after home behind. This Dhammapada was given by the Buddha when he was dwelling at Wiluvana Monastery in Rajagaha country, with the reference to Venerable Mahakassapa. One time, the Buddha prepares to go one journey after journey, long journey, usually after waters. When the Buddha arranged for one journey, long journeys, before leaving from the monastery, the Buddha announced the Bhikkhu Sanghas before fortnight, 15 days, after 2 weeks, I will have journey, I will be leaving for the journeys. Then those who wish to follow the Buddha, they also can prepare. Is it? That is when the Buddha announced before leaving 2 weeks. 2 weeks before leaving. Why? This is the Buddha's duty. During these 2 weeks, if they wish to follow the Buddha, then they can tie their rope, they can burn their boat, or they can prepare evidence before the journey. That is when the Buddha informed the Bhikkhu Sanghas 2 weeks before the journey. When the Buddha informed the Bhikkhu Sanghas for the journey, the many Bhikkhu Sanghas also washed their robe and dyed their robes. They also baked their bowl. In the same way, Venerable Mahakassapa also washed his robe to follow the Buddha in the journey. When Venerable Mahakassapa was washing his robe, the many bhikkhu saw Venerable Kassapa was washing his robe. Then he also wished to join in this journey. Then some bhikkhu criticized Venerable Mahakassapa. You know, Venerable Mahakassapa is washing his robe. Actually, there are 180 million people in the Rajagaha countries, inside and outside of the city. Altogether 180 million people in Rajagaha countries. Then most of them are Venerable Mahakassapa's relatives. Oh. If they are not Venerable Mahakassapa's relatives, they are the devotee of Venerable Mahakassapa, Upasaka, Upasika. That is why leaving those people, those family, Venerable Kassapa will not be able to go the journey. Oh, they are having conversation each other. They are criticizing Venerable Kassapa in this way. Is it? Then if he join in this journey, probably he will return to the monastery when he reach the Maymyo valley in the mountain. Is it? There's a Maymyo valley in the mountain. They are talking about Venerable Kassapa in this way. Then he will go the journeys together with the Buddha. Then he will not pass the Maymyo cave or Maymyo valley place. Then he will return to the Veluana monastery again. Why? He has many families to attach. Or what their meat is like this. Is it? Why it is called Maymyo Kandara, Maymyo valley or Maymyo cave? Okay, then the Buddha went to the journeys together with Bhikkhu Sangha. At that time, if someone, the Buddha want to ask to return to the monastery, at that time the Buddha checked. Oh, then you should return to the monastery and stay here. Don't follow with us. Then when you stay in the monastery, don't be negligent. Or Maymyo means don't be negligent. Don't be heedless. Don't be lazy. Practice meditation diligently. Oh, that means Maymyo bhikkhu. Is it? Maymyo means don't be negligent, don't be lazy, don't be heedless. The Buddha asked. Then, according to the Buddha's order, need to return to the monastery and they also practice meditation in this way. That is why this place is called Maymyo Kandara, Maymyo valley or Maymyo cave. Okay, the journey already arrived. The day, then the Buddha and Bhikkhu Sangha leave for the journey, leave from the monastery. Then Venerable Kassapa and his follower also follow the Buddha. Oh, Bhikkhu Sangha. Then the Buddha and Bhikkhu Sangha reach this place, Maymyo valley. Maymyo valley. Then when the Buddha reached there, then the Buddha checked the Buddha also think about Sunday. Oh, there are many devotees, there are many people in the Rajaka country. If all bhikkhu join in this journey, if all bhikkhu leave from the monastery will be empty without bhikkhus. It is not suitable for the people. The people also have some affair. Some affair means some kinds of donation ceremony in their houses, their cities, etc. At that time, they invited the bhikkhu sanghas from the monastery. If there are no bhikkhu in the monastery, then they will not be able to invite the Bhikkhu Sangha, then they will not be happy with this condition. Why? Many people also die every day. Then for the funeral, they also invited the Bhikkhu Sanghas for their funeral. Sometimes they also have wedding ceremony, or they also invite the Bhikkhu Sangha. Sometimes they also have food offering ceremony. At that time, they also invite the Bhikkhu Sangha. If all Bhikkhu go the journey, then there will be no more Bhikkhu in the monastery. Empty monastery is not suitable for the devotee. That is when the Buddha stopped in this place. Then the Buddha asked, oh, then Kassapa is from this region, this place. Then he also have a lot of relatives around this country. Most of the people in this country are also his follower, his supporter, his devotees. That is why the Buddha consider, okay, I will ask my son Kassapa to return to the monastery together with his followers, bhikkhus. Then the Buddha asked Kassapa, then all Bhikkhu Sangha leave from the monastery. No Bhikkhu remain in the monastery. It is not suitable for people. They will not be happy with this condition. They also want to offer, they also want to invite the Bhikkhu for doing kusala in their family. At that time, no more Bhikkhu in the monastery. That is why you should return to the monastery together with your follower bhikkhus. Oh, the Buddha asked Venerable Kassapa to return to the Veluwana monastery again. Then according to the Buddha's instruction, then he also obeyed the Buddha's instruction. Mamba, yes. Is it? Amma Bhande, Mamba. Amma Bhande, then he asked his follower bhikkhu. Then he returned to the Veluwana monastery according to the Buddha's instruction. He never rejects what the Buddha says. Is it? Go to meditation or to meditate? No. They don't do in this way. What the Buddha says, okay. Amma Bhante only. I will follow the Buddha's instruction. They will never show any other reasons. Is it? Return to the monastery. At that time, the bhikkhu, those who criticized Venerable Kassapa before, then now they saw, you see, what we say is correct now. Then he cannot pass the Maymyo valley. What we say is correct. Now, Venerable Kassapa will return to the monastery again. Oh, they are talking. In this way each other. At that time, the Buddha also heard what they are talking. Then the Buddha went to this place and what you are talking about. Then they also answer what we are talking about. We are talking about Venerable Kassapa. Since beginning, we guessed Venerable Kassapa will not past the Maymyo valley. Why? He has many relatives and supporters in this city. He will not be able to leave. He will not be able to go anywhere by leaving his devotee. What we are talking is like this one day. Then the Buddha also answered, Na bhikkhve dome Kassapa kule susa pitsi tusa legoti vadita. Oh, bhikkhus, don't think my son Kassapa have attachment to families or requisites. Is it? So Mama Vajanang Grace Amiti Niwato, he returned to the monastery to obey my instructions, not because of attachment to family or requisites. Monastery. Then the Buddha says, this Kassapa make an experience not to have attachment to the four requisites since 100,000 world cycles ago. Is it? When he approached the family, he approached the family without any attachment to the family, like the moon in the sky. Is it? That is why called Chandupama Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya. The Buddha talk about Venerable Kassapa, Chandupama, Chanda Upama. That means similar to the moon. Is it? Venerable Kassapa is similar to the moon. Why? The moon in the sky without associating with any persons. It go here and there. But it also, the moon also relieves the coldness to the beings, to the people, to the beings. It also shows the light of the moon. Then they have the metta. Is it? The moon go itself without touching with anybody, without attachment to anybody in the sky, alone. But if support the beings with his life and his coldness. In the same way, Kassapa went to the family, he went to the family only just to support the family. But Kassapa don't have any attachment to the family or the requisites. Kassapa is like the moon, or like the moon. Chandupama Sutta, the Buddha says like this. Is it? And the Buddha talk about Venerable Kassapa and Kassapa Samyutta, many sutta there. Sometimes the Buddha with his hand here in this way. The hand does not attach to anything. Why? This is the sky. In the same way, Kassapa don't have attachment to anything. The Buddha show many similes for the Buddha, the Venerable Kassapa, in this way. Then when the Buddha says in this way, why he have no attachment to the family or the requisites? He make this expression since a long time ago. That is why he also now he became Arahanta in this very life, and he have no attachment to any families or any requisites. Then when the Buddha says formal life story of Venerable Kassapa at the time, then we wish to listen what was his past story, life story of Venerable Kassapa. At that time the Buddha says Venerable Kassapa's the former life stories. Is it? During Padumodra Buddha time, 100,000 world cycles ago, then he admired one great disciple of Padumodra Buddha. His name was Mahakassapa. Mahakassapa is like Venerable Kassapa in our Buddha dispensation. He was also the third disciple of the Buddha during the Padumodra Buddha time. He practiced 13 Dutanga as a depth practice. Is it? Then Venerable Kassapa, at that time, Venerable Kassapa to be admired Mahakassapa. That is why he also did a lot of kusala, and he wished to become like Mahakassapa. He fulfilled the 10 paramis for 100,000 world cycles. But now, because of his fulfillment of the parami, then he became the third disciple of the Gautama Buddha here. Is it? Then he was born in Paipali village, village near the Rajagaha city. Then he was also he was born in a very rich family. But when he reached 20 years of his age, then his parents arranged to marry with one lady, Bada Kapilani. Is it? But he was born as a human being. He came down from the Brahma ranks. That is why he was not interested to marry. He didn't wanted to get married with any lady. But because of arrangement of parents, he couldn't reject his parents' arrangement in the environment. That is why then they marry each other. Bada Kapilani also the same. Then they get to marry each other, 20 years of their age. But after getting married, then what they said, they have no intentions to enjoy with their sexual pleasure. That is why on the bed they put the flower garland, middle of those persons. Bada Kapilani also the same. She also came down from the Brahma ranks. Is it? They put the flower garland at the middle of their bed. Then what is their intention? If someone have lustful mind, lust, raga, attachment to the other one, then two flower garlands, then the flower will wither, will dry up. Is it? Or with this intention, they put the flower garland between them. Then although they stay for a long time in this way, flowers are not withered. Is it? The same, flower not drying up, not drying. Why? That means they have no attachment to each other. Although they get to marry each other, but they stay like brother and sister for a long times. Then later what happened? When they are working, their business there in the paddy field, is it? Then many birds ate the many worm or insect. Then at that time, they feel the sense of urgency. Some wake up. Why? Oh, they are eating, they are killing many insects. Then this akusala, who accumulate this akusala? Oh, this akusala accumulated by the owner, many workers. Then, okay, they decided to leave the home together. Then, before leaving, they wear the drying rope first. Then both of them, then they leave the home together. Then later, they go different ways. Then the Buddha also saw this condition. Then the Buddha was waiting Venerable Kassapa. Then when Venerable Kassapa met the Buddha, then the Buddha gave order to Venerable Kassapa. Then after receiving the Buddha's order, he automatically became bhikkhu because he already wear the robe. He already wear the robe ready. That is why only just received the Buddha's order, instruction. Then he automatically became a bhikkhu. This one is we call order patikkanupa sambara. Sometimes you know, ehi bhikkhu, come monks. If the Buddha say in this way, then they automatically become bhikkhu. No, they are layperson appearance disappear, they automatically become bhikkhus appearance. This is another way. Another way, sometimes the Buddha asks some question, then they can answer. Then because of this, then they automatically become bhikkhu also. Then like Venerable Kassapa, the Buddha gave orders to him, then he also received the Buddha's instruction. Then he automatically became bhikkhu. This is called order patikkanupa sambara. Or sometimes need to go to the simas for ordination. something like this. Eight different kinds of Upasampada. Then he became bhikkhus. When he became bhikkhus, then he practiced 13 Dutyangas for his whole life, until he became old. 13 Dutyangas. He never sleep on the bed. He only just, this one said, he only eat one meal in one place. He never eat two meals in two different places. He went to the village for anspu. He never accepted the devotees' invitation, home dharna. Is it? Also, he never accepts the food offer in the monastery. And they come to the bhikkhu and offer. He didn't accept. He wear only just particular robe, very thick robes, in this way. Then he practiced in this way. Although he went to the families for, usually, I also give many stories. Even the Seka also want to offer anspu to Venerable Kassapa. Why? It is very beneficial. That is why. But although he want to support the devotee for their benefit, but he had no attachment to any devotee. Usually he support, he receive anspu from the poor families to support them. Is it? By offering Venerable Kassapa, they will become rich and they will obtain a lot of happiness. Then, last time the Seka wanted to offer, but if the Venerable Kassapa knew this is Seka, then he will not accept his anspu. That is why he disguised as poor man. Is it? Very poor, and he offer. So Seka did in this way. Then by offering Venerable Kassapa, then he also obtained a lot of wealth, happiness, something like this. That is why Venerable Kassapa is such kind of person. Then, one time, Venerable Kassapa became older and older, similar age with the Buddha. Then the Buddha, he is wearing particular robe, very thick robes, very heavy robes. Then he also still going to the village for food. In this way, he also stay in the forest monastery, usually Pipli cave in the mountain. Is it? Usually stay with his attainment. Then one day, when the Buddha saw Venerable Kassapa, "Oh Kassapa, you have particular very heavy robes for a long time. You should wear very smooth and light robe." Then he also asked, "You collect the anspu in the village. You didn't accept the food offered by devotee in the monastery. You should also accept such kinds of food. Now you become older and older. Then you live in the forest monastery since a long time ago. Now you become older and older. That is why you should live in the city monastery." Or the Buddha asked. Then he answered, "One day I don't want to wear the robe offered by devotee. I will continue to wear the Pansikula Jivara. I will continue to collect the anspu from the villages. I will not accept home dharna. Then I will live in the forest monastery only. I will not live in the city monastery." In this way. Then the Buddha asked, "Why?" Then he answered, "For Daitta Dhamma Sukha Vihara, for the pleasant abiding." Pleasant abiding means he wears this particular robe and stay in the forest monastery with his Phalasamappati attainment, usually. Then at that time he have, happiness, happy feeling, pleasant abiding. No need to associate with many people, no need to observe here and there, no need to scold them. Go to meditation hall, something like that. Is it? Stay alone, one thing. Another thing is, by practicing in this way, future generation also will follow this way. Otherwise, okay, Mahathera also do in this way, we also do, then they will be negligent. they will be more and more lazy in the future. That is why then I will continue to stay in the forest monastery. I will continue to collect ants fruit in the village. I will continue to wear the pansakula robe. Then he practiced 13 to 10 guys. That is why he is the he is highest position in this practice of Dutenga. He obtained this award from the Buddha, reward from the Buddha. Is it? Then he is the foremost in the practice of Dutenga, Itateka. Then at the age of 120 years, then he took final Prinibbana. He is also leader of the first Sangha Council. He is also the leader of 80 Mahakassapa, or the 80 great disciples of the Buddha. Then he was a leader. He was the third Savaka of the Buddha. In this way, is it? That is why you should not accuse my Mahakassapa. He have no attachment to any family. He have no attachment to any requisites. He have no attachment to any monastery. Then, like the swan, those don't have attachment to the place where they find the food. Then the Buddha recite this stanza. Oyong Jandi Satimando Na Nikete Ramantite Hansawa Balalan Hetawa Oka Mogan Jahandite. Then Sakuna, this one Hansa is the swan, a kind of bird. He can fly very fast in the sky, is it? Henda, swan or goose, maybe different kinds of goose. Hansa, Pali Hansa, the swan, they could fly in the sky very quickly. But they went to the small lake or any lake to find the fishes or to find their food. After eating their food in this lake, then they were flying back, they were returned to their place or anywhere, wherever they want. But when they fly back to their place or anywhere they want, they have no attachment to the lake. This is, for example, my water, Mama Udaka. This is my water. This is my lotus flower. This is my different types of flower. This is my lake. They have no attachment. They fly wherever they want without any attachments to the lake where they find the food. Not only the swan, any bird are like this, is it? In the same way, Kina Sawa Arahanta, Venerable Kassapa is Arahanta. That is why all Arahanta, although they are living in somewhere, they had no attachment to this place, this monastery. Although they went to their family's house for food or requisites, they have no attachment to their families. Is it? Then, without any attachment to the monastery or the family, they stay there. Then, when they want to go anywhere, or they also go anywhere without any attachment to the family. Is it? They can easily abandon. That is why Mama Vihara, this is my monastery, Mama Privena, Mama Mupataka, they are my devotee. They have no such kinds of attachment. That is why they can go everywhere without any attachment. The Buddha says this one. Is it? What they do is a Om Jandi Satimanda. They have very strong mindfulness, sati. That is why they have already attained jhana, vipassana, magaphala, etc. Then what will happen? They were trying to develop their jhana or vipassana to be master, to become a master. You know, our jhana, vasibhava, the mastery of reflection, the jhana factors. Samapajana, they can enter into the jhana or phala-samapatti whenever they want easily. Then Vauthana, they can emerge from jhana or phala-samapatti whenever they want. Adhaitana, they can also stay in jhana or samapatti according to their determination. They want to reflect on those jhana megaphala, nibbana in this way. They can also reflect then easily whenever they want. Or they only just practice to become master in their thing. Arahanta don't have attachment to families or any requisites. The Buddha says this stanzas to the Bhikkhu Sangha because of their criticism. Is it? Then at the end of the stanza, many Bhikkhu become Sotapanna, etc. Okay? This is the story of Mahakassapa from Dhammapada Arahanta Vaka. Then be careful not to criticize Arahanta. You have attachments to family, you have attachment to monastery, etc. Is it? Then may be able to practice to attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idame punya, asawakaya, wahan hodu. Idame punya, Nibbanasa, Pechayo hodu. Mama punya baga, Sava sadana, Vajemi, Desabe, Mesama, punya baga, Labandu, Sadhu, sadhu.